the
No
answer.
problem, no problem. That is not an issue. That's what I'm saying. No, I just did because I just want to check it whether you people are listening to my class or not. Because in the evening batch also is the same, but they were asking lots of doubts. But you people, like you were keeping quiet. So I just want to see whether you people understood or not. For that reason only, I gave it as a class assignment. It's not an issue if you just know if you have not submitted. But try to understand the concept. Yeah, why? Because it is very simple concept, and what hurts me is that I'm taking the class for you people only, but you people are not listening. And I don't know, might be like as we are putting this recording, you people will be watching it later, later hours. Might be like you will be having your own reasons for it. I'm not at all worried about all those reasons. But for me, like this is like it hurts me. Like the students are not listening; they are just like joining the class to get an attendance, and they are not doing the work properly. Likewise, it hurts me. Uh, but again, like I want to do explain the concepts again, and then you can just walk out and you can see it. Why type of questions will be coming in CAT exams? Okay, so um, please listen to it. That's all. That like that. What I can say. Like I cannot get this into my head, and I cannot um, tense myself. Like I don't want. I just uh, okay. I like cost. Like these are the main important factors. Total cost. Like total cost. Like in the short run, like if you take it fixed cost and the variable cost. Both the things added together is called as the total cost. So a business will have a fixed cost in it as well as a variable in it. Fixed cost, if you take it, like it is going to be fixed throughout the production process. It doesn't depends upon the output. Whatever might be the output, like it will remain the same because something like we have to invest in our business which will be longing for a long time and sorry lasting for a long time, and it will be the same. Like we will not be changing it immediately like every month or every changeover in the production. So for that only I said an example of land, building, machineries, tools, and the permanent labors like whom we call it as a fixed cost. And even the labors, we can say it is as a variable cost. Why? Because every month you have to pay them a salary. But other than that, like you can take the rest of the concept and the cost involved in it, which we call it as a fixed cost. And variable cost is something like is along with the output. So the raw material, the transportation cost, even like electricity bill, something like that, which varies along with the output. If the output is more, these costs will be high, and when the output is less, these costs will be low. So always when you are calculating total cost, you have like there will be a fixed cost and a variable cost involved in it, and this happens in a short period, in a short run. And then average cost is the cost per unit of output. Okay, so that is we can calculate it by TC by output. Output is like yesterday. I don't remember whether in this class or that the other class. But you people got confused with the problem which I gave it. Like the very first one was the labor used in the production input. Total product. Total product is the output. No, total production is the output. Output means the quantity which is produced. So the production, that is what is output. So don't get what is the output that will, and much like addition made to the total cost. That the marginal cost is minus TC of n minus 1. Previous one will be giving you the marginal cost. But in sometimes what happens is the change of production will be very huge. That a change in the total cost divided by changes in the output. That's what I equation, but in the as average variable cost, but I asked you to take it as total cost. Why? Because again, uh, like total cost will be including this variable cost also. But no need of you to separately take the variable cost and make a study. Why? Because fixed cost is going to be the same. So it is so that always the total cost will be highly influenced by variable cost. So that's why instead of the variable cost, I said just it is changes in the total cost, so it will be a proper answers. Think like you people might be knowing like what are the mistakes you did. Right? So these are the other concepts like average total cost. So average cost, if you want to take it, like you have to get it from the total cost. And if it is average fixed cost, then you have to calculate it from the fixed cost. And the same way, average variable cost, you have to take it from the variable cost. And this average fixed cost plus average variable cost is known as the average cost actually. So why I'm giving this equation? Because like one of the equation of calculating the average cost is total cost divided by Q. The other formula is like you calculate cost and you can add it. So all these various forms of calculating the cost, you should know it. Why? Because we don't know what type of problem we will be facing on. So these are the other formulas. So here the formulas is given. So that what I said here, the marginal cost, you can take it. So instead of changes in average variable cost, you can have it as changes in the total cost itself, and you can make a calculation, I said. So even in the problem which is given to you, you can, sorry, you can use that method. So this is what they have given, like whatever the thing I explained, the same thing is here. Sorry. So here you can see total fixed cost, like in short run, we have total fixed cost and total variable cost. So fixed cost example is the payment or rent for the land, building, machineries, as I said. Sorry. Just a minute. Okay, so the examples are the payment of rent to the land, buildings, machineries. So which is known as the fixed asset of a business. So all these are the examples. So fixed cost is independent of the level of the output produced. That is, it doesn't changes or it is not been influenced by the output. So it is even like if the output is going to be zero, like that will be some fixed cost. That is what they like. If you see, it will be horizontal sloping curve. So that is what is fixed cost. The variable, and we can say that it power cost, etc. That comes at a, under a variable cost, because these concepts will vary along with the output. So if the output is going to increase, these will increase. If the output is going to be low or like there is no production, then these costs will be zero. So that is the concept. So it has a very direct relationship with the output, and graphically again speaking, like it will be increasing along with the output. So this is what other concept is. So this is the thing. So after explaining this, I gave this work, like this is the problem to work. You have to calculate the total cost from the like the problem which is given, like the variables or the answer, like the like what to say. You have to calculate the rest of the things. So cost, that is the total fixed cost, total variable cost will be giving you the total. And marginal cost, it should be like, you can use it like as one unit of input, like what is the changes in the total product. So you can make a difference between this and the previous, and you can calculate the marginal cost. That is one way of. Otherwise, like what is the changes that has happened in total cost divided by the changes in the output. Why? Because here the output is not in one unit, it is changing in various units. So that will have an influence on the marginal cost. So cost is a per unit. Okay. So again, marginal cost is also a unit cost. So that's why they have given another formula like total, like changes in the total cost divided by changes in the Q. So that one, if you use it, you of the marginal cost. And the average, like average fixed cost. So for that, like total fixed cost divided by the Q. This is input. Actually, the formula is Q. So you have to use the product, the production, the output. Okay. So in the same way, average variable cost also, the total variable cost divided by the output will be giving you the variable cost. So by adding these two, you can get an average cost, or otherwise you can take a total cost divided by Q, you can get the average cost. Any of the way you can do it and you can calculate it. So for that reason only all the equations, all the formulas were given. Sometimes like they will shuffle it like high, as it is a high order thinking questions, like they will not directly put like this. Okay, like they may twist this and they may give it. So you should know what are all the various possible ways through which like we can calculate these values. Then you will be able to, otherwise like you cannot make a calculation. So this one like what I thought, like when you're calculating this marginal cost and I thought like you will be having a doubt and you will be asking me. But none of you asked me. That's the reason I asked you to submit it as an class assignment. But there also I found like many of the concepts you didn't found the answer at all. You just submitted it. So don't do that one. So try to understand the concept. Okay, so these are the formulas. So now my it is not in your mind, but just go through it, try to understand it, and use it in a proper way. So now we will go on to the representation of all these cost concepts. Why? Because instead of a problem, numericals, if I'm going to ask you a theory, then all these diagrams are must. So I need it actually, okay, in a proper way. You know that I give due importance to diagrams also. So please understand this one also. So here we go on to the total cost, okay. So as I said, like fixed cost, it's in horizontal straight line, you can see. So total fixed cost is in horizontal straight line, which indicates that even when the output is zero, you are making some investment, like might be 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, something based on your in like your business, like whether it is a low income small business or a medium business or a large business. Based on this, your fixed income, like fixed capital at the initial stages will be differing, but that will be there throughout the production for a particular period, for a short period. But when it becomes a long period, there you will be changing even the machineries, even the building, you will be expanding, all those things will happen. But in the initial, for a very short period, you will have this cost as the constant. So same, this 3 lakh will be spread throughout the production. So whether it is 0 or 1,000 or lakh or whatever might be the increase in, like it will be spread throughout the production. So that's why it is in horizontal straight line. And you can see that total variable cost, it is like an upward sloping curve. So why it is upward sloping? Because as I said, it depends, completely depends upon the output. So how the as the output increases, the total variable cost will also be increasing. And instead of having a very straight line, we have a curvy structure here. So why this? Because a straight line indicates that it is a linear function, and I have already a lot of times I have said that you can never have a linear function in reality. that is same proportion, changes in the same proportion or increase in the same proportion. That is not at all possible. So that's why we have a curvy shape. So it's not a linear function, always it is a non-linear function. That you have to keep it in mind. So again, the curve also you can see that the cost is increasing, but after that, like it is increasing in a diminishing rate, and after a certain stage, the cost is increasing in the increasing stage. Why this happens? Because the cost in the initial stage when you're starting a business, it will be increasing. Why? Because you are new to the business and you will not be knowing about getting the material in a cheaper rate. So you will not be getting materials at a cheaper rate. So what happens is that you will be spending more. But once the business is going on, when once the business catches the market, you will get familiarized with the people and you will start to get the raw material at a cheaper rate. So for that reason only, after that you can, after a certain period, you can see that the cost is increasing but at a diminishing rate. But after a certain stage, it again increases. Why? Because there you're going to do some changes over your production process. That is the thing, like the end of that short period, like your cost will be increasing. Why? Because you will be expanding your business, you will be expanding the purchasing new machineries, new equipments, everything will be changing on. So because of that, there is an increasing cost. So that you have to see it. Or in sometimes what happens is that when you don't take care of your business properly, also your cost may increase, and it's an indication that you have to check over the cost of production. So all these are some of the indicators, and this is how actually the variable cost and the fixed cost will be. So as total cost is a combination of fixed cost and variable cost, so added these two things, like you will have a total cost starting above the origin, which indicates that there is a fixed cost involved in it. So that it will start above the origin and it will go as in the direction of the variable cost. That's why I said other than the fixed cost, variable cost will be influencing the total cost. That's why you can see that the shape of the total cost is same as the shape of the variable cost, but it will start above the origin as the fixed cost involved in it. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the cost. Now I think like you might have got this concept even more clearer, and then we will go on to the next. Okay, so as like we are having the uh, total fixed cost and total variable cost, we have average fixed cost and average variable cost also. So here you can average fixed cost will be a downward sloping. Why? Because the same fixed cost, that is, if you take as an example of 3 lakh rupees, the 3 lakh is uh, 1 unit of production. The same 3 lakh is used for 1,000 units of production. So the same amount has been spread over with the output. So always this fixed cost, average fixed cost will be a downward sloping curve because the same amount has been spread for the spread through. So it is a declining concept. So it is always a downward sloping curve. And average variable cost will be equal, like that is depending on the total variable cost. So what happens is that average variable cost will be the upward sloping curve. Why? Because variable cost is like it is upward sloping. That's why like you can have a upward sloping average variable cost. And put together, like initially there is a downward sloping fixed cost, that there is an upward sloping variable cost. Both put together, like will have a U-shaped average cost. So that is what the concept. And then the marginal cost curve will also be an U-shaped curve. So our marginal cost curve, yeah, this finally you can take this what is needed. Like I don't want you to take all the diagrams. These are in just a minute. I will take I'll take a whiteboard paper from an sorry, actually, my whiteboard is not working. Again, some technical issue. So don't take too much of diagrams. These and all not needed. Just this alone, like you can have it. Like a downward. Okay, and downward sloping average fixed cost and upward sloping average variable cost. But you will be having a U-shaped average cost curve. So this alone it is enough. Okay. Yeah, this diagram actually. This diagram is more than enough. Average fixed cost. Okay, there is an average variable cost. So initially average fixed influencing the average cost. After that, average variable cost will be influencing. So average cost is a U-shaped curve. So you can have a U-shaped curve and you can have a marginal cost curve. That's all. This diagram is more than enough. Don't get confused with too many diagrams. Okay. So this is the thing. So here you can see average cost is a U-shaped because it is influenced by the average fixed cost and the average variable cost. So both concept is influencing the cost. So it is a U-shape. And marginal cost curve is also a new while declining also marginal cost is declining, steeper than average cost, and increasing also you can see that the marginal cost is increasing steeper than the average cost. So it is an indication cost is declining, going to decline, or your cost is going to increase. Likewise, it provides us an indication what is going to happen in the business. So that's why we consider this marginal cost as an important one. So the relationship between the average cost and the marginal cost is that both of them are U-shaped curves. Both of them decline starts increasing. So, like while it is declining, we happy. Why? Because our cost of production is going down. That is the cost that you are going to spend on is coming down. So it means that indirectly it is going to lead to a huge profit to you. And in the same way, when it starts to increase, again it is an indication showing that uh, like your cost of production is going to increase. If your cost of production, then profit margin. So the profit that you are going to earn it will get affected because of that. So what you have to do, then what you have to do it is like you have to do some research work. You should found the areas from where like you can get the raw materials at the cheaper rate, and how to minimize your transportation cost, how to market or use different market strategies through which like your marketing can be done at a cheaper rate. So all these things you have to think over, and you have to try, you should try to reduce your cost of production. So that's the indication of the U-shaped marginal cost or the average cost. But if you're going to follow the marginal cost, it will tell you well in advance like what is going to happen to you, the cost of production. So when the marginal cost to increase, there itself you think over, and you can bring some changes in your production instead of leaving the cost of production to rise, and after that recognizing it and making a change over. So that is what the relationship between these two concepts are. So all these will be here. And then come this is another concept, the short run average cost curve, long run average cost curve. So short run average cost curve, we know like it is a U-shaped curve. Okay, so this is a U-shaped curve in a short run. So might be like a 6 month, another 6 months like this, another 6 months like this. So it will be like this. So if you make a proper note of it, and if you plot it in a graph, like the short run average cost curve itself, like you can see that it will be decreasing in the stages, and then it will start to increase later on. So in a long run, if you take this optimum point means the lowest point of curve. Okay, so for this is a cost curve. This point is called as the optimum point. The lowest point of a cost curve only we call it as the optimum point. So likewise, if you joined all these short-term curves, the optimum point not exactly taken here, but you can draw it in such a way that it is having the optimum point, the lowest point. Okay, so by joining all these things, you will be getting a broader U-shaped long run average cost curve. Okay, so but anyhow, the average cost curve will be a U-shaped curve only, which is an which shows that initially it will be declining, and after that, after a certain period, it will start to increase. So this is the long run average. Uh, uh, you have to take that one and you have to represent it. Okay, so this is the thing, and economies and diseconomies, already we have talked about it in returns to scale. So I'm not going to talk more on. Because of that, also this the U shape of the curve is also because of these economies and diseconomies. You know, okay, so that's why it is a U-shaped curve. So they have given clearly, you see, because there is economies of scale, enjoying all the advantages, declining. The same thing when it becomes a diseconomies, the cost is increasing. So the same thing what we have the returns to scale. So yeah, these and all not needed. You can go with the long run and short run average cost curve itself, and you can see the relationship. So this is what the cost function is, and this is what about the theories and all. The possible questions from these will be like the numericals they can ask you, or sometimes they can just ask you like what are the different types of cost that is involved in the production process. If they are going to ask you generally the different types, you have to explain all the types. Okay, or in some cases they may specifically ask you like what do you mean by this cost? Total cost means what? Average cost means what? If they are asking you, then relate to that you have to draw and you have to explain it. Okay, so that is also other possibilities. Other thing is the relationship with average cost curve, like average cost and the marginal cost. What is the relationship between these two? So that can be a question like that. And how an average cost curve will be there in the short run and in the long run. Make a comparative of short run and long run costs. Like long run, envelope of all the short run average cost curve, like envelope of all the short run average cost curve is known as the long run average cost curve. So that like that is what this diagram shows. Okay, so that way like they can make a differences. So these are all the possible questions from this particular not chapter, particular concept. So okay, so with this, like I'm finishing this concept. Tomorrow, next class, we will go on to revenue. So cost is over. Cost functions is over now.